Hey, what's up, everyone? Coffee time. What's up? What, about 90 bucks? Basically, for Nintendo. Mario Kart. Yeah, they just kind of reskinned the things and just it's like Madden, you know. It's like a Madden 97, Madden 98, Madden 99. It just doesn't really change. It's like member berries. Member? Right. Doot. Doon, 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 We had a nice little pop up there for the news. That's crazy. What's up? What's up? Uh, how you been? It's a good question. So we're hitting like a previous resistance area. So this previous resistance area, a lot of consolidation. Come back to test the news in the middle of this and see what it does. I mean, doubtful that it's a breakaway, but you never know. If we go see, we hit about 266 in buy side and we're pulling back into the sell side. There's a previous day VWAP down at 745. How's it been going? I haven't seen you in a long time. We got the hourly close in 3 minutes. Oh, nice. We're kind of rewarding to sellers or pulling back into some of the buy side. We came into 3K in aggressive delta, and we're coming back into some of those buyers, seeing like a retest. 6,000 has been a thing for ES to break through. It broke through it, but you know, they just keep re-adding stuff to sell walls up there every time it falls below it. The volume point of control had a nice little bounce, establishing like a zone up here, node, if you will. For sure. Hit 208 in buy side up here. We just hit the 200 in buy side up in this little region. This has been an interesting reactionary zone. It's been like a place where it's come resistance multiple times. Boom. God. The bento. Bing, boom, boom, boom. Yo, Tio, how was the Switch 2 yesterday? Did you have fun? You played that Mario Kart? What games were you playing? That's nice. Are the stories different with Zelda? I kind of stopped. I fell off with like last one I played was on GameCube, Wind Waker. Do they have the writers? Are the writers the same from all way back in the day? Like, is it the same team producing? Probably not, right? I don't really pay attention to that stuff, but is it because people have rigid thinking processes over a certain age or something? Because it's cutthroat. They wear like headphones to not be disturbed. What? What? A gunfight at the place? It's crazy. I never got that. It's just I never understood why anyone would do that. Probably better I don't, but swept 6,000. Yeah, swept 6,000 again. You had like a 180 seller at 769 and 764, between that range. Another 63 seller added at 775. They just hit about 110 in buy side at 780. Is this like a bearish retest of a 4-hour zone? I don't know. You just hit 225 in buy side with that pop up. If you come back, theoretically, you could reward the sellers. Otherwise, that's going to be a massive delta slingshot upwards. He had those like airplane bottles. He was a bit high strung. I've had some pretty strange experiences, like working at the bank and a bunch of robbers, like a robber robbed the bank one time, and then a bank teller accidentally gave the explosive, a die pack to a customer. What was it? So, and it blew up in the ATM machine area and turned the whole ATM room red. Yeah, he mistook the thing of 20s. It was a commercial like business for like it was an Outback Steakhouse, and they were getting change for their business, and they need a bunch of 20s, ironically, because they make so much. They make like 20 grand a day. And then so he gave him the stack of 20s, and it was the die pack, and it just blew up and everything got all colored red. Yeah, that's what the whole caught him red-handed thing is about, you know. Yeah, it was like I didn't know that it was like what do you call it? I didn't know it was like I came in the next day and everything was all red, and I was like, what happened? The guy that yeah, then they explained everything. I was like, oh. Yeah, the teller next to me did, and I knew that she was getting robbed because basically like she said, like, she was just handing him money, and I was like, wait, how the heck does she know how much to give him? That doesn't make any sense. And then she looked at me like, yeah, no shit. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, oh. And then I hit the silent alarm, and then the FBI was there before the police. It was surprisingly fast because it's like a federal crime or whatever. So you don't want to rob a bank because it becomes like you become like a target for the FBI. And that was like, they were bossing the blue suits around like they were like security guards. It was hilarious. They were just like, you do this, dust for fingerprints, you over there. And they were just like, yes sir. But they were like treating everyone like they were in on it, kind of thing. Like they look at you all suspicious, like Agent Smith or something. But like so apparently what the manager didn't change the tapes, so they didn't get him on the recording. So they brought in like a sketch artist, and the sketch artist like somehow managed to like pluck what he looked like out of you. And I'm like, how the heck did he do that? Like they have this book of all the noses and eyes and everything, and then they somehow like dial it in from what you're talking about. And they're like this, and you're like, yeah, exactly. You're like, wait, how? And like, I guess that's what they're trained to do. Yeah. So, and then yeah, I would just like, I don't even know what I'm saying, but I'm just saying he looked kind of like this guy and between this guy, and they're like, you mean the eyes like this? And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, so was the nose more in this terms or this terms? And he's like somehow like able to pull it out of you, even though you don't even know what you're saying. And then eventually they got the guy. Like he had done other places, and then they brought in a lineup of pictures, and they sat me down at the desk, and they were like, can you pick him out? And I was like, yeah, that one. And they're like, okay, yeah, we got him. Normally the person doesn't do just one. So that was, yeah, if they get it, well, it's surprisingly easy, but I mean, by the aftermath is not easy, but the initial, you know, ability to just get away with it is pretty easy. So yeah, it's yeah, like, because they have to comply. Like you're not paid to be a hero, so they don't let you, what is it, like stop them. You just have to comply with what they're asking. Even if they don't brandish a weapon, they can just like the guy handed the teller a note. That's why I didn't even know the lady next to me was being robbed until I saw her just handing over money. I was like, wait, what? Like he wasn't saying anything. So it wasn't like the movies were like, everybody down on the floor. Like it's not like that. He just had a baseball cap on, and he was keeping his head down so he wouldn't get on the camera. And then he had this bag that he put up on the table, and then she was putting all the money in the bag. And I was like, wait, what? And then they had somebody, yeah, it looked like Nightcrawler or something, you know, like in the and then there was this one person who brought in like a fake passport, and then they brought in a check, like they were forging checks, and they were trying to cash the check. And then it came up with the warning on the system, and the signatures didn't match too. And then, so it was like 3 red flags. And then I managed to convince them like everything was okay, and it was standard procedure. And I was just like, yeah, you just had to wait over there to get approval from the manager. And they sat down and waited until the police came. And then they just got arrested, handcuffed, and taken out. And there was this crackhead that, like, he was getting, what is it, social security? No, I don't know what you call that, like welfare or whatever. And he would come in at the beginning of the month, and he would be sitting outside before open. I would go to a Manhattan Bagel outside the bank to get breakfast before we opened. And he's always sitting out there itching himself, like literally like Dave Chappelle level, like caricature. And he's like, yo, what time you guys open? And I'm like, 9, dude. And it's like he like clockwork, every first of the month, he'd be waiting out there, scratching to get his money. And then he would come in, and he would be mumbling to himself, and like walking like erratically to places, and then he would like come up and say, "What's my balance?" And then you write down the money, and it shows you all the history. And he had like, you know, let's just make up a number, like $467 or something. And then, you know, he always withdraws everything on the first day, and everyone knows what he's doing with the money, you know. And then he would come in and like, and then he was like, let me get, I write down the balance, and then he's like, let me get 200, and then he's like, actually 300. No, just give me everything. And I'm like, you sure you don't want to hold off and like, you know, slow burn over time, you know what I mean? And then like he was like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea, and he would like say $50. But then he came back, he's like 400, and then he's like, can I use your phone? And he like called the dealer from the bank phone, and the manager just let him go, like we want him out of here. So that was a strange regular customer you got every first of the month. What's up? Yeah, that was a weird experience. Oh, nice. Dilma. We got 5 minutes until open. We went and hit about 185 more in buy side, and then promptly jittered to the downside and grabbed 232 in sell side. Another 119 sellers established at 800. Currently, sellers are not really expressing themselves strongly. Until they get below 764 or 765, there's not really much strength in the sellers. We had 120 buyer there at 786. It's looking like they're adding 140. Three minutes. There was that reminds me, Tio. There was one other last funny story before we open. There was a homeless guy that camped out in the safety deposit box room where you can privately open your safety deposit box, and then he relieved himself in more ways than one. Like everything you can imagine, he relieved himself in that room and then left the mess. Like he stayed there overnight during winter to like escape the cold, and he like, you know, somebody forgot to check if somebody was in there, and then he basically camped out overnight and made it his pleasure palace. And the police had to take the samples, the stool samples and the other sample. Yeah, the manager got in trouble for not following the procedure. Oh. Yeah, I wondered how he had to stay in the security deposit box room, like in pure darkness. Like, I'm like, how did he find that alluring? I don't understand, but okay. He's like, oh yeah. The silence is deafening. Oh yeah. And we are at open in a couple seconds. Somebody added 100 contracts. And we're open. Boom. To the upside, I guess. Strength is in the buyer still. Created that volume imbalance on the way up too. Ooh, 135 seller just popped into the party at 8:03. Going back on that 103 buyer there. Jitters and battles galore. Pulling back on these buyers and starting to reward the sellers here. I took that theoretical pop to the downside. Could stop my runner, it did. Going to recover that volume imbalance by the looks of it. Yeah, just we did create a volume imbalance with that jitter to the downside. Is that on the 1,000 tick? Coming to the volume imbalance with it bouncing off of it. Not quite recovered it yet. Nice, we just hit the volume imbalance. My volumes are break even, but it's starting to bounce back. Let's see how it runs. See how she runs, or not. Oh, stopped. That's crazy. Yeah, there's a bunch of buyers that stepped up to the plate on that bounce up 336. If it's not short, it's long. Bounced off the volume imbalance. Could be a continuation to the upside. Another 100 buyer just hit, 166 seller peeled off at 801. That gives more fuel to the upside. We just recovered the volume imbalance. There's another 174 seller. Holy. That's a lot of people. A lot of contracts being exchanged. I took that long, so I'm up on the long. Nice. Yeah, I'm up 100 ticks on the runner. I did not. I just did NQ. Well, you got the Saudis like doing a lot of deals now, so it makes sense they're turning on the pumps. So, and you got that big bill like shenanigans going on. Wow, we're coming to a volume imbalance at 837. So all those sellers are getting slingshotted right here on NQ. I'll just stay in this runner and see how it runs. See how she runs. ATM's trailing it, so either way it hits my ATM or it runs some more. Let's go see this. Yeah, that's about all you could ask for, really. I mean, you can always ask for more, but like a smooth, you know, if it's not short, it's long, double bottom, boom, bounce. It had some bullish divergence on the Williams and the money flow. Bullish D. D's nuts. Where could we be going for NQ? That's there's a previous month high at 858. Could it be that easy that it does that this point in the open and starts hitting these areas it rejected like on Thursday and before the and then there's really nothing except that. Yeah, you had those, you know, London highs that it's like now coming above, and then you got the New York pre-market just after that, and then the previous month high. Dude, we're just on a mission. A mission. Bullish super trend has held. This was the key. We never broke the super trend on the 1 minute. So that's why I took the short, got stopped on the runner, just flipped long, and there's it. That's all she wrote. Now it's just running, as runners do. $4K in aggressive delta for the session. That's pretty strong. They're not pulling back hardly at all. Nice. Congrats. Hey, Cake Theorist, what is Dilma? I'm curious. Is that a type of dish? Up 200 ticks on the runner. For NQ. I got in at 795 and it was just not ever pulling back from there. Basically, I saw like the buyers step up to the plate and then it started to reward them, and then a huge seller entered and I was like, oh, this seller's gonna get destroyed. And I circled it, and then sure enough, boom. It's just not pulling back at all. It's hilarious. It's like my trailing ATM is like giving it a chance to come back and hit it, but it's just not doing it. It's like, all right, if you want to trend in my favor, by all means. We're almost at the previous month high at 858. I'll trail it more aggressively up here just so it can knock in 200 ticks. There we go. All right, I'm out. Yeah, there's really nothing. You should go play Zelda, man. Yeah, you should just go play Zelda. Enjoy your time off. You know, you can't ask for better than that. Yeah, for sure. Have a good weekend, man. Yep, have a good one, Tio. Anyone have any questions? Or if you want to be helpful and get me to like 10 concurrent viewers, then I can do a free draw for a code for a free account. Let me see. If you just want to like be so kind as to support and hit the like-a-roo or something here, if anyone's interested. Here, I am streaming. We just hit the previous month high, so I was expecting a kind of reaction off of that, so I trailed it aggressively, and then it hit my 200 tick trailing ATM runner. But yeah, that was just 2 contracts. That was a pretty good run. $4K in aggressive delta for the session. I just want to get like, I don't know, like I see streamers with like even 30 or 40 regular viewers. Like that would be kind of cool. That would be cool. So if I can get like a decent amount of concurrent viewers, like 10, and then you guys have like a comment, I can like filter those, I can RNG those comments for like a draw, a giveaway or whatever. Oh, nice. Cool, cool, cool. Yo, what's up? I can give a free Apex account. Nice, we reached 10. Alright. Milestones. I mean, I've made 10 before, but when I was doing Bitcoin, but this is new for futures. 11, rockety rock. So if you want a chance at a giveaway, you can write a comment on your on this video's comment field. You can write whatever you want, just not profanity. But if you want to write something in the comments, wait, do I have to make like a code for it? It's my first time doing that. Sorry, let me, before I say what to do, I've never done it before. So give me a second here. Just going to check it. Check, check, check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right, so we have what is it? What are we talking about here? So we have YouTube give, like, what do you do it? YouTube comment selector or something? Comment selector, I think. Pickawinner.co. That seems decent. So I can just take that. Let me see. Take the link of the video or something. Mads Mikkelsen streaming. Who's that? Oh, nice. Thanks. Yeah, where's the comments field for this? Hold up. Wow, there's a 200 buyer at 843. Hold up a second before I... Somebody's like thinking it's going to continue, or they're like cashing out a short down there. I don't think that normally works that way. They normally get liquidated up top, so this is a buyer adding. So if the buyers are strong and somebody's just looking for that pullback and they want it in, if there's a 200 contract guy who just got in at 843, theoretically using that previous bounce wick zoning. If they're a large player like that, they could handle a pullback further and possibly add more. But let's go see what NQ has up in liquidity, resting up above. Let's see. So let's zoom in a little bit more. Let's get this 5-minute thing. So we got a few resting orders up at the 900, so we could go sweep 900. NQ ES has like has some resting liquidity up above, more above than below. So coming to like the 630s seems like a reasonable thing if the buyers are strong. If we come to, where is that? Give me a second here, please, just 1 second. Hold up, I gotta make sure something is properly here. Alright, so where is that? So we hit the previous month high, and then we reacted off it by rejecting, and then they're trying to break through that. Where's the next zone to check out? Let's see. We got the Thursday high, and then if you do 20 points above that, you got 955 as a potential target, at least sweeping the Thursday highs. Super trend is holding on the 10-minute. We're kind of trending on the upside. Anyway, let's find out how to do this comment selector thing. Okay, so you take the link. Let's get the link for the video. How do we do this? So it's going to turn on this real quick. So Mads Mikkelsen, who's that? Hannibal? What? Where's the comments? So they're pulling back on the 209 character. Give me a second. I'm just trying to find why my comments aren't displaying when I go to my video. I think my so we got that fixed. Wow, so they're hitting the sell side now. That 209 buyer at 843 getting taken for a ride here. You're seeing some telegraphed large player 512 contracts on ES 6017 up here, kind of trying to force it down. You often see a lot of large players step up when they're about to like try to force it lower. I think I need that. Can you post comments on the video? Oh, nice. Can you post a comment on this video? Because when I pull it up, I guess it's my own account, so it doesn't show me the comments, but I've seen comments in the past, so I know it does. If you can post a comment, it can take a random comment picker. I don't know if I need to. The filter is going to remove duplicate users and anything goes. Okay, anything goes. So there's no. Do I have to do that? Let me see. Okay, so I can select a keyword. I think I'll do anything goes, so. And then allow duplicates, no. So I'll basically give an hour to, if we can remain in the 10 users plus for like an hour, then I'll like give you an hour to like put your comment or whatever in the chat of, or sorry, the comment, not the chat, live chat, but the comment of the video. Like make a comment I'm not going to say you need to say anything positive, but if you want to, that's cool. But if you want to put something in there non-profane, then I can do a drawing. I will do it before I close. Yeah, like I'll close out the stream with the giveaway. And if I've never done it before, so this is the first time. But I'll be able to give a free eval. How's everyone doing, by the way? $209 buyer. So we went and swept a little bit of sell side, cleared out some of the over leveraged players, and we could be coming back above this character. Gotcha, I see. That's the problem. So can I do it from a chat then? Let me see. Hold up, let's do chat picker. Let's see how I can do it from the chat. YouTube chat picking giveaway picker. Do you have something like that? Oh, then maybe we should do it from like a previous stream then. That makes sense. So we can comment on a previous stream's thing, and then I can take that link and then feed it into the random comment picker. Gotcha. So it can't be the current video, it needs to be a previous day video. Roger, roger. Okay, so yeah, we can do, how about yesterday's? If you put a comment on yesterday's video, let's do that. So yesterday's video, we dropped to like 3 people. So if there's a way to maintain 10 at least, if we can get back above 10 and then those 10 people, at the bare minimum 10 people, do a thing for it, that would be cool. So basically yesterday's video, if you could comment on there, then I can basically do that. I'll do a selector of that, not yesterday's. If we could get like 10 comments on, at least 10 comments of the 10 people watching, then that would be cool. Trying to see how to do this really quick. Going to studio. Yo! Welcome to the party, pal. Yeah, it was pretty good. Like the pop up was pretty nice to telegraph. We just like, yeah, it was like pretty smooth. There was no like shenanigans today. Now it's acting shenanigan-y, but okay. So let's go. So it's hitting a bunch of buy side as it's going to the volume point of control. Volume point of control has changed to 840. It's creating a whole little like pad up here for volume above this range from 772 all the way up to 862. It's like a whole little thingamajig that it's doing. There were some 8,000 contract players. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but it's doing like it's like a little pad. It's like creates a pad of volume, and then those, you know, it's sometimes the value area low has a very nice, you know, trough and valley, but this whole thing is just a big, I don't know, spiky thingamajig. I don't know what else to call it. It's like thick. It's a whole thick range that it just created of volume. So it's just trading its way up with interest. And we're at 4. I love those imbalances, baby. They just make me want to stick my trade inside it. Hey, but it's you know, we're hitting, there's 4K in aggressive delta to the upside, so this delta is strong. The force is strong with the aggression to the upside with the deltas these days, but it's definitely not seek and destroy, and the delta has follow through, so the buyers are in control. I would trust, if it holds a buyer like this 835 character, that these buyers are meaning some business. It's coming there. You still have that 200 character at 843. It needs to come above 843 for that 200 buyer that got promptly punished. But if they're paying 200, they can handle the pullbacks. But in order to see the reward, they would have to be above 843. 843 is the theoretical strength coming back to the buyers. Okay, so yeah. Until it's all if then, so if the fact that it's not going above 843 is, there's no strength returning yet. They have the, like, I keep noticing these 500 contracts and these 1,000 contracts players, they put their like sell wall up above the price, and then it goes the opposite direction of where they list that large, so that large players like using that as some weird barrier that doesn't get fulfilled, and then it just goes, and then they remove that once it gets to a certain point. That spoof disappears. Like on NQ, you have a 400 contract guy up at 860 doing that now, and then on ES you got a 500 contract guy doing that. So they're like, putting that there somehow pushes the price down. They just grab 200 contracts and sell side there. Nice. Yeah, you could play this range. Theoretically, we're kind of bouncing off of that previous breakout, pullback area. So we could be testing this as support. This is a third hit to it. Yeah, you can't at all, actually. That's pretty nice. Nice of them. Let's go see this thing. So we're going to go to the previous day. Comments. Five. So we got 5 comments on the previous day video. If anyone wants to get in on that, my first attempt at doing like a random YouTube comment picker for a free eval, go to yesterday's video and comment, and then I'll try this random comment thing. We got 5 people. So you got a 1 in 5 chance right now. I like those odds, 25%, not bad. So we're coming back above the volume point of control. Yeah, again, reminder, the strength returns at 843 with that 200 player. So if it can get above 843 and hold this, buyers are coming back to the party. Yeah, because you can't comment on a live stream until it's over. So in order for me to do it, yeah, I had to figure that out before you arrived. I was like, wait, how does that work? Still 1, 2, 3 hits. We're gonna break out from here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 and 7. Nice. Is my wife playing like Splatoon or something? Uh-oh. Why is it acting slow for some reason? Can't get this to update. Peekaboo. We basically came to the previous month high and then rejected off that, and it's been 20 minutes in this quote-unquote telegraphed rejection. Yeah. Good, it reestablished a toss. That's good. I don't know what that was, but it just kind of like acted weird. Hopefully all of the people are in the Discord that are commenting too, so I can kind of like reach out if there's issues, because I don't know how to actually contact people on YouTube. I've never done anything like that. But I can get the name of that person and then ask or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But it's a first beta test of that. Yeah. So that 200 characters there in that circle, and then there's some other larger players, about 200 contracts in here of buyers. So again, theoretically, that's not. Yeah, this is a fourth hit to the low. You could break it on this fourth hit. What is that? 815. Let's see. 815. 815 has. It keeps pulling into a bunch of sell side and then bouncing out off the sell side, but there's not really anything super notable at 815. If we look at 815 in general on executed trades, there's a few contracts down at sub 800s on NQ, but nothing worth waving a stick at. You have this 404 spoofer up at 900 that keeps using that as like a pressure to push it down. And then you have a different player, maybe even the same entity on ES with 500 contracts at 6,035 that's like trying to, as soon as they appeared, it started to go down. So yeah, that seen that before, like where this large player steps up to the plate and then it starts to suppress the price. So we've came up 4,000 in buy side, and now we're trying to theoretically like induce some longs and then use their stops for the passive player to like get in like this, where the whale is kind of waiting in the cut to passively add their orders off the backs of the retailer kind of thing. But where does that bounce out from? But could sweep all of the lows of this little mini range it created. All right, so let's see. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people. When we get 10, then I'll like try it out. $10 comments. So you chance. Going to grab the wicks. This fourth hit, yeah, is generally, it's gonna weaken, and then that could be like a C wave where it gobbles up all the people that got in the middle. And then if you see a huge seller hit in this pullback, then theoretically you could see a bounce back, but it would be ultra risky. I just need to see it. I'm seeing some buyers here, but it's like, that looks like it's gonna absorb them. Not enough significance. Just hit 100 contracts, and then we're basically having this like trend line that we're kind of bouncing off of. We're Doritoing. You have 102 seller that entered at 827. That's a first character of a seller that, if it comes back on 827, could start punishing sellers. If you're another 126 seller entered at 815. They added to 127 now. Sellers are starting to take a little bit of control here. Let me show what I had from the previous trade. Yeah, you got 111 resting orders at 607 from this push down that it might be grabbing on ES. Could burp and grab those guys because they've been static and they're underwater. So you just hit another 93 sell side at 810, hitting a bunch of stops here. $390 in the 2K tick trade zone there. That's like a lot of sell side. 400 sellers hit. The last of the news was the pre-market stuff, I think. It was like the yeah. You have Harker speaking at 2. Or sorry, 2 my time. It's like PM for you. Yeah. Comment picker, where is it? And the sweep to the 6,007 character, just sweeping the 100 contracts. Gobble, gobble. All right, let's see what they hit on NQ now. It's no large player. Oh, you had like 150 buyer that bought at 811 and just got promptly absorbed. Wow, just went down massively from there. 600 sellers taken. That was a huge lot they grabbed. You're sweeping that previous pre-market pop zone. Wow, that just cannibalized some late shorters. 312 buy side taken with that burp. If you were going to look at the theoretical grabbing of sell side liquidity grab and checking that as a checklist, came to the cloud in this range here. Hitting the super trend just below the 2 minute. We're at the halfway point of the hour. You could be reaching into this like retest of the wick of the previous news pop. Yeah, the cannibalization. Yeah. And then we're VWAP at ES is right there at 6,000 with a bunch of like 200 contracts there. One of the 122 lot is just sitting there for a long time. So that could be the final target they're aiming at, but it's kind of 329. With that last bounce down, that was 329 sellers grabbed on NQ. Nothing super noteworthy, but that was a lot. And that's essentially what the double bottom is. It like people DCA on a pop of the first part of the W, and then they finish the job with the second leg at the W. So that could have been what it is. That's why everything's just Wendy's versus McDonald's. You're looking for W's and M's. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It went and hit 300 in buy side with that pull back. It hit 329 sellers, now hitting 300 in buyers at the 800s. Let's go see this thing. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 8. If we get 2 more comments on the video, then I can try this random selector. Boop, 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 boop. Tio made like, he made like 8 grand and then he's like, I'm out. We were both seeing the same thing. It was kind of nice. You want to play Switch? Oh, nice. MJ, good job. Got paid. Nice, nice, nice. Corn dog. CBD telegraph for that breakdown for a while. Nice. Yeah, the Delta, man. The Delta is a thing. Looking at the Delta. Now we're like the buyer's starting to take over now. You had a 227 seller enter at 816. Wow. Some seller thinks it's going to reject here. Are they going to become rocket fuel to the upside? If it comes above 816, I fear for that guy's bank account. Oh, coming above their entry. We could use that 816 guy as a theory for punishment to the upside if it holds 816. Brits. We're returning to the volume point of control too. There's like this entire region creating this whole like pocket of above that value area. And like it could be somebody that bought the bottom that aggressively got out as they sold their in profit at 227. You know, it doesn't always have to be a short that entered there, but basically the theory is if it continues higher off of that, it means they no longer have to pay a buyer, so that drift to the upside because they sold their long is also theoretically what's happening, or somebody enters a short and is getting punished by it going higher. Either way, like somebody misses out on getting paid, so it's like it drifts in the opposite direction of that character. Then it's basically like, you know, showing the strength of the other side is like tipping the hand of the other side. So it's like if you use those players as context, then the context gives you a clue as to what it's doing. And then it's also like gives you a little bit more what's the word, like confidence in this range, like this is area, like, because who would buy a breakout like this without that? And so if you see the 227 character, you're like, okay, that gives me a little bit more confidence when that guy starts to get punished, that I can enter long off of their being wrong or whatever. And it's not just like a YOLO neophyte buy the breakout long guy. You're actually putting it in like a intelligent framework that's back testable. And now we're coming above that character, and the volume pointing control is exactly there. He just added 209 to his sell there. So now it's 400 contracts at 8.15. I don't know, but you know, if you're looking at this to punish the sellers, this is a good long right here as a delta slingshot to the upside. Or if you're thinking the sellers are strong, then this is your area to think they're right. I'm of the mind that they're going to get punished because it's been the trend thus far for today, and we swept the lows. So, yeah. I think it's going to slingshot them in the face. Let's see if it's right. So far, I think you made a volume imbalance just then. Yeah, you kind of shifted out with the 1,000 tick volume imbalance at the volume point of control, and those sellers ripped the dream for those guys. Yeah, but either way, they don't have to pay them anymore, so it causes drift to the upside because they're like, the relief of not having to pay this guy anymore, and then it like drifts up. So it's like, I don't know exactly which one it is, but I always look at it in this context of punish, reward the opposite side. The passive player is the one getting rewarded by, and the aggressor is getting punished. Because it's always like patience pays, right? So the passive unseen player that's at the end of that aggressive sell is the one that's kind of absorbing their sell, like, yeah, I'll sell to you. Sure. You want to sell 400? Okay. Yeah, no problem from. And for all I know, they're right, and then it's just gonna like dump. But it's like at least you can hide behind them with a tight stop, like, and then every time it goes, like there was a time I was like trailing it tight, and then every time it would go above, I would like attack and hide behind. And then if it goes back, and then it comes back against them, and then I attack again. It's like you use it as this tight range where you can have like a risk to reward of like 9 to 1 or something. Because it's like not gonna go much further. Like if it goes against, or it starts to reward them and you're thinking of punishing them, then you know, your zone of where that stops being true is very tight. Yeah, you kind of came to that, like, what was that? Is that the open bounce zone? Yeah, it was. So it's like right where you're getting another 128 seller selling at the top at 830, and then another 78 seller at 834. You're getting negative delta as we go up, so that's showing a telegraphing a weakness of the sellers to follow through. Like, why are you selling into a strength? Unless you're weak, you know. Oh, starting to come back on the 830 guy's entry, giving him the flirtation of profit. All right, let's see. Where is that? Oh, now it's rewarding the sellers. Or is it? Again, volume point of control 815, the seller 218 seller at 814.75, and 816 the other for 200 character. Nice, I got 11 comments now, so I can do that thing. Let's try. Anything goes. Wait. Let's see, where is that? It says unknown error. Let's try a different one then. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let the pun. Yep, there was a volume imbalance retest too. Okay, let's see how this works. Number of winners, 1. Let's see if it's doing it properly. If you played those like 200. I'll wait for this to like load. All right, so, oops. Takes a while. But yeah, you see how it like when it bounced off of the like 814 region, and then it was like, nope, those 400 guys, no thank you, and then they like just bounced off of it. It's like it can, like, if you're just looking at a candle, like you don't understand why it's doing that, you know what I mean? It's like, to me, it's just fascinating, because it's like understanding, like in science, like why do atoms have orbitals and all that stuff. Like some people might find it like over their head, but it's like the more I know, the more interesting it gets for everything. So I just find it fascinating, because it gives me like, that's why we rejected off there, those guys. Ah, I see. And it's kind of like, yeah. Right. It's like, I don't understand how you can't be fascinated by the world. You know, the world is just like, there's so many facets to everything. And then even like today I was at my son's sports day, and I was looking at the leaves of the trees, even in between like little events there. And I'm like looking at like, those are deciduous and this is conifer. And I'm like, I'm just like, this is such useless information to know the difference between types of trees. But I'm like, I don't care. I like it. You know. Here we go. The punishment begins. Those 400 sellers are like, what's happening, man? I thought my selling would do something. Why is it not picking the comment? Does that work? Yeah, I don't understand why it's taking so long. I've watched other people do this before, and it doesn't do that. Let me see. YouTube comment selected. The other one that I saw somebody use got, like, was not working, so I don't understand. Let's see. Don't include replies, maybe that's why. No, unload error. Let's see if this works. It says doom 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 doom. Come on, man. Why are you taking so long? Ooh, it's moving the volume point of control with it as it goes up. That's why it's like hard. It's like a shelf. That's what it's called. It's a volume shelf. I was trying to figure out what the thingamajig name was. It's a volume shelf. Because it's not really like, you know, it's just a stack of volume. There's no better word than shelf. I think I've heard that word too, so that was what it was escaping me. Right, in this case, because it's like the whole thing is the same amount throughout the whole thing, so it's a shelf of volume. And then the nodes are like more like mountain peaks, you know? They have like a, it looks like a sideways V or whatever, but this is like bringing nodes, all that, like it has books, it's like books the whole way through. It's like a shelf. So there's no clear volume point of control because it just keeps making books everywhere on the shelf. Come on, man, you're not working. Work with me here. Is that what? How do I not have comments on it? I see comments. Oh, because that's the current video link that I'm putting in there. Duh. How did I not have the... I thought I copy-pasted the old one. My bad. So it probably worked and I just didn't have the right link. Alright, so let's take off the timestamp on that. And then just use the clean link. Copy clean link. Alright. And now let's do the one that I was wanting to do at the beginning. This one. Alright. Alright, so let's try this again. So, anything goes, include replies, and pick a winner. Who's Garbin de Hedge? Shout out to Garbin de Hedge. Nice. So you get a free Apex 50K eval. Congratulations. Woohoo! Yeah, no problem. I don't know how to reach out. I think if I click your name... Hold up. Let me try to find your name on the thing here. Ah, you can DM in Discord, even better. Yeah, do that. And then, like, I don't know. But yeah, let me just make sure, because if I do this in the future and it's like on a scale that's too much, then people might do something strange on Discord. So, but just for now, I'm sure it's all right, because it's just a beta test of this. But hold up, let me see something. I think I can. I saw somebody say they did it in, like, they did their what do you call it? They said put their email in the somehow in their profile or something. I don't know how you check that either. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't show. Yeah, basically. Oh, Garbin is your handle? Then that's great. Yeah. I see you in there. Yeah. All right. Cool. Yo. I'll do it again, MJ. No worries. I'm not, this is like, this is the first of many. Gotta give back, you know. I had an MPO and I taught at orphanages and helped some kids with no parents get into, like, nursing school and stuff, and then they couldn't afford English lessons and stuff because they don't have parents, so I would go and volunteer stuff. So helping others helps yourself always. There's you know, it's, you know, it's not selfless to be like to help others. You're actually doing it, you end up doing it for yourself because it feels good, you know. Wow, they just keep going back to those 200 guys and then just like, all right, let's see. So I'll end the stream moment at the turn of the hour, and then we'll give you the information for that. That was cool. It was cool to see it like react off the thing. Yeah, and be like getting a clear read on it. And that's all you need, really. Like it's probably doing the thing that we did the other day. You remember how we saw this clear read, it came back and hit the runner out and then it ripped, you know what I mean? Like it did like a fake out pullback and then just went boom. Like it's probably gonna do something like that. So if you were scared and it stopped you out at break even or in profit, like it did to me the other day, then it's gonna just go punish them like hardcore. And if you're not in it, yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's rejecting off the comma now. So let's see how the hourly closes. Hold up. You got it. Is that about 12 seconds or? Nice. Boom. There we go. That was clean. Just need to see that C wave to the upside, man. That's all you need is that C wave. Like boom, 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 bap. No. The super trend on the 30-second is holding though. It's like looking like you're gonna go sweep that previous month high again and go to infinity and beyond. I mean, that's 300 sellers there to not reward. So that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. I'm not in it because I've already made the money, but that's where if I wasn't trading, I would be. If I hadn't traded yet, that would be where I would have taken it. Just keeps rejecting. It's like, what is it waiting for exactly? That's the thing I'm not really understanding. Like, what do you want? Another 200 sellers? Like. Yeah. And it didn't even do it, like it didn't even go down much. Like this entire rejection of the previous month high, you just spent an hour like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Oh, I went down, but not really. Well, I'm gonna go up now, or am I? You got London closing in what, like 15, or is it 30? Ah, I see. So it's in 30. Yeah. Wait, you have so much resting liquidity up there. Like, look at this. You have like all of these resting orders that have been there the entire time on NQ. Now you have essentially this. You have this like thing looking to get filled up above. Yeah. Here we go. Let's break this freaking range consolidation pullback area at 41. Blast! There you go. Well, there's the theory playing itself out. That was nice. It was nice to see, and then you see how they had like it's like they pulled back once, twice, thrice on those 200s, 400 guys. Wow, what is this? What? Here we go. Here comes the sweep. Boom. Boom. Both of you guys got that. Holy moly. What and Friday. Dude, that was telegraphed from the start, you know. Yeah, that was cool. What did we get? Okay, we went above the previous month's high. Wait, how many points? I was going to say 20 points. We still got a ways to go. Nice. Guys, that was a fun little Friday ending. Sometimes Fridays is not easy, but this today, if I do say so myself, was pretty. Other than the annoying time waiting, but it was like I didn't really have like what's it doing? It's like no, it's pause. I think it's gonna do this, and then it did it. Like I can't ask for more than that. Getting another 114 seller at 860. Hopefully not add those guys down there. That's good. Well, I will catch you guys. Yeah. Have a good trip, man. Yeah, that's cool. All right, well, have fun. Enjoy with the fans. That's what it's all about. Yeah. Likewise, and you too, man. Thanks for commenting. I will contact Garb after the stream.